Mrs. B lay motionless on her bed, her breathing faint and fragile. With every passing second, her life moved closer to death. A few minutes later, her breathing suddenly changed. She gasped rapidly for air, then released several final breaths without inhaling again. Her family checked on her and believed she had passed away, so they began preparing themselves for the funeral arrangements. Mrs. B's full name was N.T.B., Dharma name D.T., residing in BL District, LA Province. Her family had practiced Buddhism for 3 generations. Thanks to the spiritual guidance of her elders, from a young age she developed deep faith in the Triple Gem, practiced vegetarianism, and sincerely recited the names of Amitabha Buddha and Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. In the family, she was both a mother and a father figure, wholeheartedly teaching her children and grandchildren about morality, human conduct, and proper behavior. Because of her guidance, the children in the family grew up understanding respect and virtue, often observing Buddhist precepts and showing filial piety toward their elders. Her daughter, Dharma name D.H., continued the family tradition of Buddhist practice. Following her mother, she took refuge in the Triple Gem, became vegetarian, chanted sutras, and recited the Buddha's name from childhood. 15 hours had passed since Mrs. B had stopped breathing. Her eyes were fixed open, and bodily waste flowed uncontrollably, causing an unpleasant odor to fill the room where she lay. While the family was busily preparing for the funeral, Mrs. B suddenly moved. Her breathing returned, her eyes slowly opened, and she regained consciousness, to the shock and confusion of everyone present. Her children and grandchildren could not understand what was happening. Some even wondered whether she was a ghost or truly alive. Everyone trembled in fear and disbelief before this rare and extraordinary event. Yet Mrs. B had indeed come back to life in a miraculous way. Strangely, Mrs. B died and revived not once, but twice. The second clinical death happened exactly like the first. After 15 hours without breathing, she came back to life again. She never went to the hospital, remaining at home while continuously murmuring Buddha recitations. Seeing her mother experience death and revival twice in such an incomprehensible way, D.H. stood before the Buddha altar, respectfully joined her palms, and made a vow: perhaps my mother's karmic conditions are not yet complete. Today, I wish to offer part of my own lifespan so that she may live a while longer. I pray that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will witness and bless this vow. D.H. felt sorrow that her mother, after a lifetime of spiritual cultivation, still could not pass away peacefully at the end of life. So she encouraged her mother to vow for rebirth in the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss of Amitabha Buddha after leaving this physical body. Although Mrs. B had relied upon the Triple Gem since childhood and faithfully recited the names of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, she had never learned about Amitabha Buddha's vow to receive sentient beings at the moment of death. Therefore, she had never dedicated the merits she accumulated throughout life toward rebirth in the Pure Land. Knowing this, D.H. carefully explained the Pure Land teachings to her mother. The Buddha taught that to be reborn in the land of ultimate bliss, one must possess 3 things: faith, vow, and practice. Mother already has deep faith in Amitabha Buddha and has cultivated virtue throughout her life. What you lack is only the vow to be reborn in the Pure Land. Now please make the vow to go to the Pure Land and attain liberation. After hearing her daughter's explanation, Mrs. B finally understood the Pure Land path clearly. Filled with faith, she replied, "Then from now on, I will no longer cling to this worldly life. I am determined to go to the Pure Land with Amitabha Buddha, my child. Once there, I will continue cultivating." Mrs. B was already elderly and in poor health. From that day onward, she recited the Buddha's name with the heartfelt wish to soon journey to the Western Pure Land and leave behind the suffering realm of samsara. Perhaps due to D.H.'s filial vow of offering part of her own lifespan to her mother, Mrs. B was granted 1 more full year to live, practice, and aspire toward rebirth in the Pure Land. 1 year after the second clinical death, D.H. dreamed one night of Amitabha Buddha. He appeared incomparably beautiful, with a majestic and dignified form radiating brilliant light throughout all directions. The light was both dazzling and gentle, naturally filling DH's body and mind with peace and joy. Amitabha Buddha approached the family home and gently released the lotus flower he held in his hand into the house. DH awoke overflowing with happiness, certain that her mother would soon attain rebirth in the Pure Land, and mentally prepared herself in advance. She vowed to recite the Ksitagava Sutra 49 times to dedicate additional merit to her mother. After diligently completing the 49 recitations, one day Mrs. B came to her daughter with a calm and peaceful expression and gently said, "On the 19th day of the 9th lunar month, I will follow the Buddha. The family should prepare everything beforehand." Exactly as she had foretold, on the 19th day of the 9th lunar month in 2017, the sacred day of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, after listening to 15 minutes of the Universal Gate Sutra, Mrs. B peacefully passed away while reciting the Buddha's name. She remained fully conscious, with a rosy and radiant complexion, looking as though she were wearing makeup, astonishing everyone who witnessed it. The atmosphere inside the house felt unusually warm and bright, entirely unlike the cold sorrow commonly associated with funerals. Mrs. B was then 81 years old. On the night her body was buried, DH dreamed of her mother again. Mrs. B appeared beautiful, dressed in golden clothing. Smiling gently, she said, "I have arrived in the Western Heaven." Upon awakening, DH felt boundless happiness, knowing with certainty that her mother had attained rebirth in the Pure Land and had forever escaped the cycle of birth and death in this suffering world. Though she missed her mother deeply, her heart was filled with joy rather than sorrow. On the 20th day after her passing, Mrs. B appeared once more in DH's dream and said, "The road upward has very few travelers, while the road downward is crowded." Not understanding her meaning, DH asked, "Why do you say that, mother?" Mrs. B replied, "Because many people recite the Buddha's name, yet their wishes remain attached to worldly matters. They are not wholeheartedly determined to seek rebirth in the Pure Land and liberation from samsara, so they fail to attain rebirth there." How regrettable! DH remembered those words vividly. Her mother's message served as a warning to many Pure Land practitioners. Though they speak of seeking rebirth, their hearts are not truly devoted to it. Instead, they remain consumed by worldly worries and desires. Without sufficient vow power, even after a lifetime, they still cannot reach the Pure Land. Therefore, those who choose the Pure Land path must understand that faith, vow, and practice must all be firmly cultivated together. After developing understanding and faith in Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land teachings, one must let go of worldly attachments, earnestly vow for rebirth in the Pure Land, diligently recite the Buddha's name, and perform many virtuous deeds dedicated toward rebirth there. Only then can one attain the wondrous result at life's end, closing one's eyes in the Sahar world and opening them in the land of ultimate bliss, enjoying eternal peace and advancing directly on the path of cultivation until the complete realization of enlightenment.